Good morning, students. Yesterday we have started the revision of the topic, that is the solid dosage form powders. In that we have covered, in the first part we have covered the most of the points like definition of the powders, classification of the powders, and the difference between the wet seal and the dry silk acids. So these are the very important points we have seen. Now we will move towards the next half or the second part of the solid dosage form powders. We will quickly revise it in 10 minutes only. So the next point or the next part covers the preparation of powders and the problems that are encountered during the dispensing of powders. So let us start with the preparation of powders, how the powders are prepared. The various steps that include in the preparation of powders are: first one, you have to reduce the particle size of the ingredients, then you have to sieve them, then you have to weigh each of the ingredient, you have to mix them, and you have to pack and dispense it. So these are the steps which are involved in the preparation of powders: reduction of size, particle size, sieving, weighing, mixing, and packaging. So in that, the important point or the important step is the mixing of the ingredients, how the powders are mixed. So we will see what are the methods of mixing of powders. There are various methods for mixing of powders. Remember, hand mixing, which includes the spatulation, that is with the help of spatula and tile you can mix it. Second one is the trituration, that method we are using in the lab, that is with the help of mortar pestle we are mixing the ingredients. Third one, in large scale or in the industry, the tumbling method is used, which includes the wide mouth closed container, and in that the powder is mixed in the vessel by tumbling method. Next one is the sifting method. With the help of sifting, the powders ingredients are mixed. And the important point from exam point of view, that is the geometric dilution method, how the powders are mixed by the geometric dilution method. Remember, when the short note is asked on the geometric dilution method, you have to remember the first and the foremost point is that it is used for the mixing of potent medicaments. Remember the word potent medicaments. What do you mean by potent medicaments? Which are effective in small quantity or in small dose. So when you want to mix the potent medicament with the diluent in large quantity, the geometric dilution method is used. The geometric dilution method is used. Remember that. Definitely there will be a question on the geometric dilution method. So you know spatulation method, that is with the help of spatula and tile you can mix. With the help of mortar and pestle you can mix. Third one is the tumbling method. Sifting method you know, and the geometric measure. You know how the geometric method, when you are asked to write down the geometric method short, the geometric dilution method short note, what you have to write down? See, spatulation you know, the tumbling you know, sifting you know, geometric dilution. Remember the points in case of geometric dilution method. It is used when the potent substances are to be mixed with the large amount of diluent. Suppose you want to mix the 100 milligram of potent medicament with the 900 milligram of diluent, say lactose. How you will mix? By geometric dilution method. In that, see, first step is the potent drug, that is 100 milligram of drug plus equal volume of diluent, that is 100 milligram of lactose. You have to mix it in a mortar pestle. So you will get the mixture of 200 milligram, 100 milligram potent drug, 100 milligram diluent. So it will be a mixture of 200 milligram. So that 200 milligram of mixture again mixed with the 200 milligram of diluent. So 200 milligram of mixture plus 200 milligram of diluent, again it will become 400 milligram of mixture. So that 400 milligram of mixture again mixed with the equal volume, that is the 400 milligram of diluent. So it will again become the 800 milligram of mixture, and to that 800 milligram of mixture again the remaining quantity of diluent, that is the lactose, is mixed, and you will mix the entire amount, and that process is repeated until the diluent equal in volume to all the mixture is incorporated, and that is called as an dilution method. Remember, when you are asked to write down the short note on geometric dilution method, you need to explain it with example. 100 milligram of potent drug plus 900 milligram of diluent, say 100 plus 100, 200, 200 plus 200, 400, 400 plus 400, that is 800, and 800 plus remaining quantity of diluent. So that is geometric dilution method, you have to remember and you have to explain it. Now next we will move towards the important point, that is the problems encountered in the powder formulation. So when you want, we have seen the different disadvantages of the powders as a dosage form. So when you are dispensing the powders, there are certain problems you may face in the dispensing of powders. First, when the materials which are mixed, that are hygroscopic or deliquescent. So the question is asked like that: how you will dispense the powders containing hygroscopic and deliquescent substances. So in that, what are hygroscopic substances? They absorb the moisture from the air and they undergo the liquefaction, partial or complete liquefaction, that is called as a hygroscopic or deliquescent powders. In that case, what you have to remember, the solution is that you have to apply it in a granular form to decrease the exposed surface to the air. So what you have to do, you have to prepare the granules from the powders and you have to dispense it. And second one, you have to pack it in a aluminum or plastic foil with the addition of light magnesium oxide to reduce the formation of damp mass. Or you can add the starch as a absorbent material. So when you are asked to dispense the hygroscopic or deliquescent powder, two solutions: either you supply it in a granular form, pack in aluminum foil or plastic film, and you can add the absorbent material such as magnesium oxide or starch. Second one, effervescent problems or effervescent powder problems. What happens during when crystallized substances is that during storage, the water of crystallization get evaporated and the liberated water convert that powder into the paste or liquid. That is called as an effervescent problem. For example, alum, atropine sulfate, citric acid or codeine phosphate, these are drugs or the substances which are having the water of crystallization, and during storage they lose their water of crystallization and they form the damp mass. So in that cases, what you have to do, the solution while dispensing, you have to supply it in anhydrous form and just similar to the hygroscopic powders, that is in aluminum or plastic foil you can supply it, or you can add a absorbent like starch or magnesium oxide. Next one, eutectic mixture. So what are the eutectic mixture? When two or more solid substances are mixed together or rubbed together or triturated together, what happens? Their melting point decreases and it comes below the room temperature and they become liquefied. For example, when you triturate menthol, thymol, phenol or camphor, what happens? These are solid in nature, but when you triturate it, their melting point decreases below the room temperature and they become liquefied. So in such cases, when you want to dispense such kind of drugs or substances, what is the solution? You have to add the inert substance such as starch, talc or lactose to prevent the dampness, or you have to dispense each drug separately. So this is the eutectic mixture problem. Next one is the incorporation of liquid or solution. When you want to incorporate the liquid into the powder, what you have to do? You have to add the adsorbent like light kaolin. When you want to incorporate the large quantity of liquid into the powder and you want to dispense is, what you have to do? You have to add the absorbent like light kaolin. Remember, that is the solution to incorporate the liquid. When you want to incorporate the extracts into the powder dosage form, what you have to do? They are available in semi-solid dosage forms. So semi-solids, they have to equally mix with the equal quantity of lactose, and then you have to reduce it into the dry powders. So you have to first mix that semi-solid extract with the lactose and then you have to incorporate it. That is the solution. Next one is the potent drug problem. We have seen how the potent drugs are incorporated by geometric dilution method. You can also use mix the problems, or you have to add the suitable diluents like lactose with the potent drug and you have to dispense it, and you have to use the geometric dilution method. Then incompatible salts problem. When incompatible salts are triturated together, they may produce the discoloration or chemical deterioration, or they may lose the potency. So in such cases, what you have to do? You have to use the minimum pressure while mixing, or you have to mix it in a tumbling jar or with the help of spatula or on a sheet of paper. So by using this, or you have to powder it separately in a clean mortar and gently you have to mix the ingredients. So that is incompatible salts problems can be overcome. You can avoid the discoloration, chemical deterioration or loss of potency. Next point is when you are to dispense the explosive mixtures. For example, oxidizing agents such as potassium salts of chlorate, dichromate, permanganates and nitrates, sodium peroxides, silver nitrate, silver oxide, they may explode violently when triturated in a mortar with the reducing agent. For example, when oxidizing agents are triturated with the reducing agents like sulfides, sulfur, tannic acid, charcoal, so what happens? There may be the chances of explosion. So the solution for this problem is that you have to triturate it each salt separately, and you have to subject to a minimum pressure. You do not triturate hardly, you have to triturate it softly, and you have to dispense each salt separately. So that how you can overcome the explosive mixture problem. Effervescent problems, effervescent powders, you know, these are the points we have covered during the lectures. How the effervescent granules are prepared. There are two methods, wet method or dry method. You have to remember. Question or short note may be asked on the effervescent granules, how they are packed, that is in aluminum foils you have to pack it and you have to dispense this. So these are the points, important points we have covered. Thank you so much. You revise it, you learn it, and you give me the response on a WhatsApp.